Well, hello, Alan Cosens here. Here's some of the more common questions I get or confusions I get about OnPassive. I'm recording this on October 9th of 2020. OnPassive will be launching in 2020, so whether that'll be 2 weeks from now or on December 31st, I don't know. But one of the more common things that people ask about or comment on is this idea that it's been 2 years or it's been a year. And people say, well, I got a position a year ago and I still haven't made any money. You know, scam, wah, wah. So the first thing you have to understand is OnPassive hasn't launched yet. It hasn't launched yet. So this idea that somehow there was supposed to be a launch date that somehow got bypassed or delayed or something, this is all nonsense. I don't know where people are getting this idea. It's just stupid. There's never been a launch date given. From the very beginning, way back I got in October of 2018 when there was about 2,500 founders. And now you can see there's 222,000. Right from the very beginning, the first two videos that Ash Mufara did to lay out the vision of what this would be, he tells you flat out, I can't tell you when this is going to launch. It's going to be a while. He said it might even be, a year or more. We've had regular weekly private founders webinars for well over a year, and in none of those has he ever given a date. It's always been, we'll let you know right before it happens. So there is no such thing as it's been delayed or it's late or it's taking too long. This is just not even relevant to the situation. Now, what's funny is, I've been doing this stuff 22 years. I've been online almost 13 years. And I'm not bragging, but, I am the number one producer in multiple different companies, and I do that in just a few hours a week, and I've been doing the same thing, the same process for 13 years online almost. And what kills me is that the people who know everything, right, the geniuses, they're always the ones that reach out to talk about how everything's a scam and everything's just hype. These people that they never get results in anything. They're in 15 different programs every year, never make any money, but they know everything. So this idea that somehow there's some pre-established time frame that it's supposed to take from inception of an idea through to completion of the manifestation of the physical reality of a business and all its products. I mean, this is asinine. So obviously, if you bought a founder position 2 years ago, you haven't made any money because it hasn't launched yet. So people say, well, it's still in pre-launch. No, it's not in pre-launch. This is not a pre-launch. Okay, this is a company that's developing products. And if you come in as a founder, you are helping to found the company. So OnPassive started as an idea and a little over 2 years ago. And now there are, from what I understand, 3 products completed, about another 30 that are almost completed, like within weeks of being completed, tested, and more beyond that. So you have to understand, if you decided one day that you wanted to do, let's say we'll pick one product, because I can't tell you about all the products because there's an NDA, but let's say, for example, you decided one day that you were going to start a company to compete with Zoom. And you said, I'm going to create a better webinar platform that will allow live meetings because I observed that Zoom has almost 3,000 employees now, and they're going to do over $1 billion this year, especially with the whole pandemic thing. Everybody's working from home. There's a hell of a demand, and we've got Zoom, and we've got Webinar Jam, and we've got GoToWebinars, and, I don't know, 7 or 8 other webinar companies, and some of these are charging $500 a month just to use the webinar services. And I want to do one that's better quality, unlimited capacity for a fraction of the price. I want to create that. Okay, go ahead, start. What do you do? How are you going to do that? So most of you you're going to have to hire developers, right? You're going to have to hire engineers. I mean, you're going to need servers. So you're going to need engineers. You're going to need a location to put those servers. So you're going to need storage or office space. It's going to have to be climate controlled. It's going to have to be monitored. So you're going to have to hire people. So you're going to have to, how are you going to do that? Are you going to run an ad on Craigslist for software engineers, server engineers? I mean, this is just one product. This is like a lot of work. You have to now extrapolate that out and say, I want to do this in every country in the world, with the exception of, North Korea and wherever you can't go. So now you have to look into all the legalities of doing business in every country. So you need attorneys, right? You need attorneys that specialize in international business law, and you may need more than one attorney. And this is all going to take time. It's going to take a tremendous amount of money. And then you're going to have to source locations. Where's the cheapest location? Where is it stable? Where can I go that it's safe? You're going to need to look in insurance. This is all before any of the work starts, any of the development starts. So let's say you hire engineers and developers, and it takes you a month or two to make your selections, and they get started working, and you find out some of them aren't working out, or their attitudes don't line up with what you want to do. Or even some of them, they learn about what the vision of the company is, and they decide they don't want to be employees. They just want to have their own business, and they quit. I mean, there's all these things you have to do. We haven't even gotten into like licensing and taxes and payment processors, banking, e-wallets, things like that. You're talking about a tremendous amount of work. Now, I've had people reach out to me and say, it doesn't take, I could set up a membership site in a month. Okay, you're a dumbass. You cannot set this up in a month. It would take you a month just to hire the staff that you need to do. I mean, there are hundreds of staff members. So I think a lot of people just aren't getting what this is. They're accustomed to the normal crap that's out there. And yes, you can take WordPress and install a membership site. I could do that in a day. That's not what this is. Okay. This is a huge suite of products that are all built from scratch, coded from scratch. And I can't tell you what they all are, but that one product I can tell you about. And so if you can imagine, if that's all the product there was, that would be worth it, right? So competing with Zoom. So we know Zoom will do $1 billion this year. We know they got about 3,000 employees now. They've hired about 500 this year, something like that. And if we could deliver a webinar service with more functionality, that's sexier, that's unlimited, that works better, for less money, that would be a gimme. I mean, that right there would be enough to create a $1 billion company. That's just one thing. Now, imagine any service that you would need to use as a business or want to use as a business, whether it's text message marketing, email marketing, importing lists of emails, scrubbing them, bulk mailing, autoresponders, funnel builders, even just the services for building stuff like that, hosting, domain names, a print shop, on and on and on and on. You name it, that'll be part of what we're doing here. Yesterday, somebody was asking me, well, is there anyone else out there who does anything similar? I'm not aware of anyone. The only thing that could come to mind is I thought, well, you'd have to put together like Google, and if you combine Google and Zoom, you have to combine some of these big tech giants. I mean, just something like email, to be able to service email for, hundreds of millions or billions of people. I mean, this isn't like a small project, guys. The fact that this whole thing can be even close to being done within 2 to 2.5 years is really quite mind-boggling. I mean, it takes a long time. If you look into the history of Zoom and see how long it took them to build up, I mean, this is fast. The appropriate response to this sort of thing is like, oh my God, how did they accomplish so much so quickly? Not, I've been in a year and I haven't made any money. I mean, it's like the stupid things people tell me. It's like, are you paying attention at all to what's happening? So here under webinars, there's a recorded webinar section. And in that section, they have, with the exception of last week's, they have every week's private founders webinar recording in there. It's every Thursday. So you just look at the dates and go back through. And I would say go back to about October of 2019. Not all the way back, but back to about October, maybe December of 2019, and just start working your way through those webinars. You'll get to see, you'll get enlightened on what a lot of the products are, how they work, how this whole thing fits together. I'm telling you, like, if you're watching this video, you really don't have a clue how all this is going to fit together. And you may even be a person who's super excited about it. And you think you go, man, this is, we're going to provide every product that a business needs for less money and better functionality. But you still don't really understand how all this is going to fit together, just in terms of like acquiring traffic, and competing with the big tech giants, things like that. And when this all finally is released and you see how it all fits together, it's going to be astounding. Now, right now, you see here my team, 223. Those are just my personal confirmed founders. There are I've got another 256 pending founders that I've referred. And I have a feeling that most of them are going to go ahead and confirm and activate probably pretty quickly once we launch. Once they begin to see what this actually is, because some people, let's face it, they're just too lazy to take the time to go through and study the materials. Now, there's 4 videos I've been using to enlighten people on this. The 2 of the videos are the first 2 videos that Ash did way back in the beginning. And if you go to my links and you go into, you just go to presentation links, actually. You just pick one of the presentation links. That's the wrong button. And these presentation links they all have 2 videos on them. Okay, so here's the first video.
Hello.
That's the first one, and then the second one's here.
Hello.
Between these 2 videos, he lays out the whole vision of what OnPassive is. And I have people who are confirmed founders, have been confirmed founders for months, and they ask me questions that are clearly answered in these 2 videos, and that tells me that people are just not paying attention to what this is. People are getting wrapped. Some people are just going ahead and signing up because I'm telling them you should go ahead and sign up for it. But at some point, you have to put the time in to study these things. So those are the main things. That's what got me interested, was these 2 videos. And what he does is he just explains like how the pay works, what the products are going to be. He explains the fact that this is an idea right now. We're just getting started. If you want to get involved in helping us found the company, you can. Right? So this isn't this isn't like an MLM. It's not a MLM pre-launch. This was an idea that has been turned into a reality. And those of us who became founders did so because we wanted to be part of creating that opportunity. Well, what we've done along the way is we've created a community of over 220,000 people who are already confirmed founders. So this is going to be launching maybe with 300,000 people already paid and ready to go. You've never seen that before. For some people, this is why they join. They say, I've never seen a company that has 200,000 people already paid and ready to roll before product launch. I've never seen that because it's never existed, not in this space. There's probably maybe like companies like Apple, when they go, oh, we got the new iPhone 57 coming out or whatever, they'll take pre-orders, and they'll probably exceed something like that. But Apple didn't have 200,000 customers before they launched their first product. They had 0. So, or something like, some small amount. Some computer store in their local town agreed to buy 5 units from them or something. So this is unprecedented. And the reason why this is happening is, one, I think because of the community that we have, the vision. Ash is really good about laying out a vision. Okay. And the thing is about Ash is I've never met him personally, but I've kind of been following him in the online affiliate marketing space for a long time. And I've gotten to know him through the live. We have a live thing every single week. And the thing about him is the guy doesn't need to do this. And you can just tell, you could just feel his sincerity when he talks about this. The things he talks about are very big ideas. They're bigger than a lot of people can confront. Because the average person can only confront, well, how do I pay my electric bill? So his vision is much bigger than most of you are even capable of wrapping your wits around. He's used his own money to build this whole thing. The money that's come in from these founders. So this is the other thing that people say. They go, 222,000 people times $97, right? That's $22 million. Scam. Well, that money is not being spent. That money is being set aside for marketing campaigns for founders. So the other thing is that founders' positions are and always have been refundable. So if you come in and for some reason you're not happy, like I don't know you're going to need to have your head examined to not be happy with this, but if for some reason you weren't happy, you just submit a support ticket and get a refund. Out of all the people in my team right now, I think, I don't know how many's on I'd have to look, see how many's on the whole team here, but out of my own personal referrals, 223 paid confirmed founders, I guess there would have been 224 because only one person ever requested a refund. Now, this was long ago before any information on the products or anything was even given. So there's literally zero risk. So people are so quick to try to find the negative aspects and, it's a scam. It's all hype because nobody's made any money. Well, no shit, no one's made any money. It hasn't launched yet, genius. I mean, for the love of God, let's at least think within the realm of reason and reality here. So we are, November, December? We are less than 3 months away from launch. The soft launch will happen before that. I think there will be people who make six figures just in the soft launch before the products actually launch. But some of the more common questions. So those are the most common things I deal with. The people are replying to emails or texts or whatever. These are the main things that they talk about. And what it is they're just not understanding what this is. It's not that they don't understand the pay plan or they don't understand the pricing or anything like that. They just don't understand what it is. So it's a concept that's being turned into a business, and it's a very big idea. And frankly, if it took 5 years to build this, that would be understandable. It would be reasonable, but it's not going to take that long. Okay, we have literally hundreds of staff members now, people, engineers, programmers, web developers, admin people, and so forth. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. Now, the other most common thing I get is regarding the pricing for the founders' positions relative to the products. People watch the webinar and they're like, I don't get it. Where does the $25 come in? I thought I paid already. Okay, right now the founders' positions are 97, and they've been 97 since the beginning. When soft launch happens, they'll go up to, I believe, 149 or 147. I can't remember which. I think it's 149. But so far, they've been 97. This makes you a founder. It has nothing to do with your products. Nothing. It has nothing to do with the product launch. It makes you a founder. Okay? So why do you want to be a founder? Well, that's covered in the two initial videos that I just directed you to here. But to summarize it, you get certain benefits over regular members. The main benefit is you get priority placement in the company matrix. So I'm not going to go into the comp plan a whole lot here, but it is a three by forced matrix, which is my favorite type of comp plan. And if I got in when there were 2,500 founders, and now there's 220,000. That means that there's been a lot of, if you don't understand what a force matrix is, okay, it's kind of like you can only go 3 wide. So each position can only have 3 positions underneath it, right? So you're basically looking at 3, 9, 27, 81, 273, 729, and so on in terms of this is level 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if I bring in 5,000 people, there are only 3 of them go on my level 1. Only 9 of them can go on my level 2. So as we populate out all these levels, then this guy here, his organization is being populated out and he gets paid on that. So the earlier, the better. So some of you came in based on the idea that you never have to do anything. You can literally just get a position, just pay your position, maintain your position, eventually you'll be in profit. And that's correct. But you can also have some tenacity and attack this and build your organization. Now, there are people right now who have enough people in their organization that the first month they will have a six-figure month. And it's just the difference between someone who like got to work and started sharing it and asking their teams to share it versus someone who decided, well, I want to do absolutely nothing. And that's okay if you want to do that. But the product pricing, okay, has nothing to do with this founder position. So as a founder, you're getting priority placement in the overall compensation structure. As a founder, you have your own marketing campaigns that regular members don't. So on the product prices, it's $25, $125. These are monthly recurring. And these are set up so that if you want, you don't have to pay all these. I mean, you probably should. But you could just start with the 25. Once you have enough profit to give you some profit and to cover the next level, you can set it so that it automatically pays for your next level out of your commissions. The traffic, the done-for-you traffic and enrollments come in at the 125, the 250, and the 500. Now, based on the data Ash covered in his videos I just showed you here, the traffic comes at these three levels. There's 1,000 ad credits per level. These ad credits, this is not including the actual products that you get at these levels, okay? But assuming you went all in on all of these, you're basically looking at approximately 3,000 clicks or more each month. Well, clicks, like running solo ads, an average click might be 60 cents per click. So for 3,000 clicks, that would be $1,800. All right. So for those of you who aren't tracking, 60 cents times 3,000, it's $1,800. So if that's all that it was traffic, that would still be a hell of a deal. Because 1,800 clicks, this total here, 750, 850, 875, right? 750, 850, 875, that's $900. 900 divided by 1,800 clicks. That's less than what you would typically pay to get traffic on your own. That doesn't include the products. So it's not like if people look at these amounts, they're like, oh my God, that's so much money. It's not. For what you get for it, it's not a lot. If all it was traffic, it would be worth it. It would still be a deal. But the ad credits just come with that. That's not the product that you get at that level. You still get product with this. So each of these levels can be funded with profits from the previous level. What I would really suggest is that everybody should minimally do the first three if they can. If you can't, just do the first two. But the traffic, the done-for-you traffic's going to come in at these 125 and above. That's for the product. That's not the founder traffic. So the founder ad campaigns, the marketing campaigns for founders is a totally separate thing. And like I said, if you do the math, 97 times 222,000, all that money is sitting there waiting to be used. So you get priority placement in the organization. You get massive traffic campaigns with positions allocated within the force matrix. It causes everybody to win because everything spills over. And it's not spilling over based on, it's not a binary. Like it's forced. So it's spilling over evenly. So anyway, you can watch those two videos if you want more on that. But these product levels, the 25, 125, 250, and 500, that has nothing to do with the founder position. Like people join as founders, like a week later, they're like, I don't get it. Like, what about the 25 level? How come I'm not making money? You said I didn't have to do anything. Holy crap. It hasn't launched yet, guys. So there's a big distinction between those two things. Other founder benefits. Well, the private founders webinars, the only people who really understand what OnPassive is are the founders who've been plugged in. I mean, that's as close as you can get if you've been plugged in every single week and watching those private founder webinars. And I would suggest that if you are a founder, you watch those live, because the one from, let's take a look, the one from whatever day it was, not October 7th, I guess it would be October. See, they skipped one. One of them was skipped, and it's not put in here. And I'm not sure why they didn't put it in here, but I asked about it on yesterday's. I said, well, where's the recording? And they said on the live broadcast, well, sometimes you got to just make it go right to be here live. Like they weren't going to post it. And I see here they didn't post it, but they posted yesterday's. And it could be they posted yesterday's because I made a point to point out, when you post the replay every single time for over a year, people begin to depend on it, and people don't, some people are working, can't attend. So I do have a support ticket about the previous one. The point I'm trying to make is you want to try to be there live, because you never know. It may be, the recording may be posted and it may not be. Okay. But the people who've been tracking with these weekly founders webinars, those are the people who really understand this. And if you signed up as a founder 2 years ago and you've never even done anything, you've never watched a webinar, you don't have a clue what OnPassive is. Like, it's far, far bigger than people understand. I want you to, without breaking my NDA and without, making income claims, because anything I'm telling you here is just hypothetical, for hypothetical example purposes. You could do better or worse, but if you think about something like Gmail and how Google runs their services, when Gmail came out, I can remember the day I first heard about Gmail. I was working in an office many years ago. I was doing title searches, and somebody mentioned Gmail. I said, what the heck's Gmail? I didn't even realize till a couple years later it was part of Google. But the concept, was you get free email, and everybody started using it. And if you really look at what happened with that, Google took off as a search engine, and hundreds of millions of people were using Google, hundreds of millions, if not billions of searches a day. And they used that traffic to promote Gmail. And everybody started using Gmail. And then what do you see in Gmail? Well, you have a free email service. This is limited on how much capacity you have. But when you log into Gmail, there are ads. They can email you whatever they want as far as ads. And then there are text ads within Gmail itself. So by giving away free email services for hundreds of millions or billions of people to use, you get email, and they get a conduit through which to communicate with you and to show you ads. And so they can sell advertising. Okay. Now, if you were to take that concept and just hypothetically, stay with me here, if we could take that concept and duplicate that and get to the point where we have tens of millions or hundreds of millions or even billions of free email users who we can then show ads to, because every time they look at their email, they're going to be exposed to it. But instead of selling the advertising to make profit from the advertising, we're actually promoting the services that our company offers, whether that's print services or domains or hosting or webinars or whatever they are. You begin to get kind of the entrance into the bigger picture of what this is going to be. So when you look at these webinars and people are talking about the unicorn company that does $1 billion in, I think it's the first year or something like that, this is not at all unrealistic. It's far bigger than you think it is. So I'm trying to look over here on my other screen and see if there's anything. Oh, the only other thing is that people really ask me is like, they don't believe that they can just get in and do nothing and still make money. And I would say that when I first heard that, I didn't believe it either, because you see all this hypey stuff. Matter of fact, the only reason I took the time to watch these two videos was because someone who's been in business with me for a long time kept telling me, you should just take a look at it. You don't have to do anything with it, but just take a look at it. And once I got about halfway through the second video of Ashes, I realized, oh, I get it. Like, I see what's happening. I see how that's true. Like, it is possible to do that. It's just never been done before. Because in order to make it happen, you have to have a certain amount of resources, expertise, or know-how in that field, and access to the proper communication lines. So, for example, if you wanted to be able to deliver advertising and traffic for 1 million people, it's just too big. The average person wouldn't be able to source all that advertising. It would require someone who's been in this industry for many, many years, who has the proper connections, who has enough resources to test and do all these media buys and so forth, to be able to source that much traffic. What you also may not appreciate is that there's already an established list of contacts. I can't remember the exact number. I think it's over 1 million, if I remember correctly, that are not necessarily part of OnPassive. They're just previous contacts that have been acquired through years and years of online marketing. Now, someone might say, well, but they're not my contact. It doesn't matter, because the way the force matrix works. See, usually in these companies, you only win if the people below you are productive. And in this company, you win if the people above you are productive. Like, you could literally never refer a single person personally, never lift a finger, and the organization above you, as the matrix populates out, is going to populate people into your organization. It's impossible not to. The only way that would not happen would be if the company stopped growing. And that has nothing to do with any of the advertising. That's just our own viral growth. That's just what made this here. What made this here was people just sharing it. This has nothing at all to do with any done-for-you marketing campaigns. 222,000 active paid members. I would say easily over 500,000, over 500,000 registrants, because well over half of these people never paid or confirmed their accounts yet. That's all just from people sharing it, sharing the vision, sharing those 2 videos. We haven't involved any paid marketing campaigns, any of the done-for-you, any of the founders' marketing campaigns yet. So when you combine together, I mean, we're growing at, 2,500 new people a day, something like that right now. If that's all it was, first of all, if you take this number and you double it, the daily growth goes from 2,500 to 5,000 a day, because you have twice as many people. A small percentage of them are sharing it. Well, as that small percentage increases, the number of daily enrollees goes up. So by the time this hits 1 million, we might be enrolling, 10, 15, 20,000 people a day. That would be all aside from any of the done-for-you marketing campaigns. You tracking? Now, if we add into that the paid marketing campaigns, the tens of millions of dollars in paid marketing campaigns for just for the founders, that's going to increase this exponentially. Then if we add into that the traffic that comes from the product, the levels of the product. So each person, if they're all in, you're talking about 3,000 visitors a month. Out of those 3,000 visitors, you only need to get 3 enrollees over the course of, say, 90 days to guarantee that this thing keeps rolling out. I mean, the percentages that you need are very tiny to make this happen. So what I'm trying to get you to see is, yes, if you want to do nothing, you can do nothing. I don't recommend that, but it's a hell of a pull, because there are a lot of people, maybe you're one of them, who've been in a lot of different businesses and you've gotten all excited and you've contacted your 15 friends and that's all the people that you know, and none of them wanted to do it, or one of them wanted to do it, and just nothing ever happened with it. It never grew because the structure wasn't set up to allow that to happen. It wasn't set up to allow you to win even if you never did anything personally. Now, there's a certain, in the universe, there's certain laws, and there's laws of exchange, and it's kind of like, if you don't contribute anything, should you get results? Should you reap rewards? Well, that's a philosophical issue. For me, I think what's significant is that the people who are working The people who are putting the time and effort and focus in to really build on top of the done for you aspect, they need to be rewarded. They need to be rewarded more. But the fact is that someone like me, I'm populated down 7 levels right now. So there are a lot of people within those 7 levels that are going to be getting paid that have never done anything. I'm okay with that because I'm still getting paid on them. So instead of worrying about how is my downline going to be productive, you don't have to worry about. I have people who are under me who send me people. They send me people to transfer older founder positions to because they know that the more positions, even above them, the more that force matrix is going to dump into their organization. And that's only one aspect of the comp plan. So your great-grandmother who doesn't know anything, right? If she wants to give it a try, she can get a position, even if she just did the first 2 levels and never lifted a finger after signing up, she's going to get paid. It accommodates that. Now, is it better if you really bust your butt and build your organization? Of course it's going to be better. You're going to make more money. Now, what I did is I bought 2 positions. One position I've been sharing, and I really only, I'd say in the last 2 years, there's only been maybe 4 or 5 times where I sent out any email or really promoted this at all, just because I was kind of waiting to see how the development would go. And then in about the last month or so, I've been promoting it a little more. So most of these, I'd say 70% of these here have all come within the last month or 2. And that was actually a mistake. I should have been sharing it more early on, but I have 5 or 6 other businesses, and I do pretty well. I just didn't need it, so I wanted to focus my attention on things that were paying me now. But those people who have really taken the ball and run with it and put attention on it, there are people who have full matrix. There are people who have 80,000 plus people in their organization already. Well, what do you think their payday is going to be like the first month when we go live and everybody starts activating their products? Well, it's going to be completely different, right? So what I did is I bought 1 position that I've been sharing, and we have a team built down to 7 levels already, and I bought another position which I haven't done anything with because I wanted to see what the difference will be. And I just bought that recently. I bought an older founder position. I transferred an older pending founder position from myself. So as time goes on, we launch, we get a year into it or whatever, I'll be able to take a good look at it and go, well, good, this is the position that did nothing. Here's the results that we had. This is the position that had, 280 or 290 personal referrals on it on the day of launch, and this is the results that one had. And we'll have some real numbers to look at to see. But the fact of the matter is, if you started a position, activated your first 2 levels, and you spent $150 a month for 3 months, and then in the 3rd month you made $151, you're in profit. If the 4th month you made $200, okay, great, you're making $50 a month for doing nothing. In the 5th month, if you made $250 or $300, great. And if it took you, I don't know how this is going to roll out. I don't know how fast it's going to grow. I don't know where these, this is the other question I get, how are these founder positions, these teams, this 222,000 people, how are these going to be allocated in the overall company compensation structure when we launch? I don't know the answer to that. I think that the answer is they're just going to be allocated into the force matrix in order. In other words, the first person will be here, and the next 3 people will be here, and the next 9 people will be here, right? And the next 9 people will be here. You with me? 9, 27, 81, 273, so forth, until all 222,000 people have been allocated. So that's not necessarily related in any way to what structure you perceive for your founders team. That's just going according to date. I think that's what it's going to be. We've never had any official explanation on that. But the advantage of being a founder is priority positioning in the matrix. So as a founder, you do get allocated first at the top of the matrix. How much difference will that make as time goes on? Well, like any company, it always is helpful if you are in earlier. If you open the first Starbucks and you own it, you make a lot more money than if you just bought a Starbucks franchise yesterday, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't do well with buying a new Starbucks franchise today. So let me just look at some notes here. I think that's about the main things that people ask me. People are just so eager to just be negative and find the catches and everything like that. It's like once you've followed a bunch of these founders webinars and you see what this is really about, you realize that all these things, all these problems that seem to arise, and like, well, I don't want to help that guy because he's on my stronger leg, and yeah, he's doing well, but I want to put all my attention on my weaker leg because that's what I get paid on. All these stupid things that come up in the MLM space, they just don't exist here. They've all been handled. Things like payment processors shutting you down. You can't use PayPal now because people don't even realize this stuff. Well, how are you going to collect money? Well, I'll just use PayPal. No, you're not. They don't allow affiliate marketing. So you can use it for a month and then they'll shut you down and freeze all your funds and you're out of business. I've had that happen multiple times in different companies just because people didn't know. So you got to have numerous payment processors set up, and you got to be able to process all over the world, and you got to be able to switch on the fly. Right? So what if one shuts you down because of God knows what, some dummy charged back because he didn't understand he could have just got a refund and he was an a-hole. Well, now all of a sudden your whole account's shut down and they're holding on to millions of dollars. So one, you need to have enough capital that doesn't pose a problem and shut your company down. And two, you need to have the ability to use other processors. So there's a lot of things that come up in this space. If you've been in this space for a while, there's a lot of things that come up as problems. Well, they changed the product, so now the product doesn't work as good when you're in the health niche. They lost their payment processor. A lot of these trading deals, these Bitcoin deals, which are stupid because that's the last thing we need is another Forex trading course with a monthly fee. But you see people running around talking about 2% daily. You'll earn 2% daily by doing nothing. Well, you can't. That's illegal. You cannot promote that. Unless you are a registered financial advisor with the SEC in the United States, that's illegal. Okay, so you see these companies, they come up 6 months, they're gone. They come up a year, they're gone. Why? Because their trading bots don't work? No, because their affiliates are promoting in a way that's illegal and nobody is bothering to enforce it. So you've got a whole compliance aspect to things. You have to make sure people are promoting in a compliant, legal way. And if it should happen that somebody decides to not be compliant, how do you handle that? Do you have all your contingency plans in place for if a government agency in some country decides that they didn't like how a particular affiliate was wording something on one of their promotions and they decide to shut you down or freeze your bank account or your company in that country? How do you keep going? You see, there's a lot of stuff that comes in that you have to consider and you have to handle ahead of time. And these are things, after doing this for 20 years, I've experienced all this stuff, and these are things I think about. Most people don't think about it if they're new to this stuff. Well, as we've had a chance to get to know Ash and go through these weekly webinars for the last year plus, he's addressed all these things. He's talked about all these things. Matter of fact, yesterday, some of the live call was about stuff like this. I really think it's about the safest place that you're going to be able to go. Honestly, the only complaint I have about it at the moment is it's not live yet. So I would love to put more attention on it. But until it's actually live and producing live income now, I have to keep my attention on things that are actually producing income. So I really, like some of those of you who are really struggling to find all the negatives and why is the glass half empty and like what's the catch and all that, I think you're wasting your time and energy. I think you just need to get in, become a founder, start going through the material. Go back 6 to 8 months, start working your way through those founders webinars. After you watch a dozen of them, if you don't think it's for you, if there's something you don't like, just go over here to the support thing and request a refund. There's no risk. What do you have to lose? The other thing I'd like to point out before I close off here is, as I'm making this on October 9th, it's 3:13 p.m. We have 48, about, I don't know, roughly 60 hours left. So Sunday night at midnight. Right now it's Friday afternoon. So Sunday night at midnight will be the end of our ability to transfer older pending founder accounts to people who want multiple accounts. So in other words, if you're coming in right now and it's October 9th, the date stamp on your position is going to be October 9th, 2020, and your position in the overall company comp structure will be according to that date. If you haven't joined yet and you want an older position, I have them back to February of 2019, February, March, April, May 2019. I mean, I have them all the way through up to present time. I have almost 300 other positions, something like that, 260 other positions that are pending. Those can be transferred to you. So you just have to reach out to me. Just send me, I need a unique email that hasn't been used for OnPassive or GoFounders before, and a phone number and a name. The phone number and name don't have to be unique, but the email has to be an unused email. And what I do is I go in here and I transfer. I'm not going to open this up and expose a bunch of contact info for other people, but there's a little transfer button. I put your name, phone, and email in, and I click transfer, and it transfers it to you. And what happens is you get an email, and it's got login info for that account. Now, you may have to go into the account, go into the profile, and change your address and such, because whoever registered that account may have put their information in there. But now you have a date stamp that is maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years earlier than present time, so that your position within the overall structure is going to be much higher than it would be if you're enrolling newly now. So if you're watching this video after October 12th, the beginning of October 12th, right? So the end of the day, October 11th, 2020, if you're watching it after that, unfortunately, the ability to transfer those has expired and that will never open up again. So hopefully those of you who come across this video who are interested are catching it before that. Now, in addition to that, as far as like the home business space itself, I've been doing this 22 years. I've been online almost 13. I do teach the correct data on how to do this stuff. I base it on a 7-step codified process that I developed over the course of many years. I've repeated these 7 steps over and over and over and over across every offer I've ever done. Every offer I've ever done has been profitable. Some of them have been extraordinarily profitable. The process never changes. And I have tutorials about all of this on alancosens.com. You can go there at any time. You don't even have to opt in. There's free videos there. It's like going to university for online marketing. I have a half-brother, who he has a degree from Full Sail University in internet marketing. And when he was in his last year of school, he used to tell me, I go to your website to learn how to do a lot of stuff because they don't teach us this in school. And he used to tell me, you should be one of the instructors there because you know more than most of the instructors do. And it's just a question of, I just do it all the time. I mean, I've been doing it every day for years and years and years. I mean, you have to figure stuff out. And the thing is, there's a million things that you could know. And there's about, I don't know, less than 100 that you actually need to know to get results. And those 100 would comprise 7 basic steps, and anything beyond the 7 things would be just how to automate these things. So whether you automate them or don't automate them, it doesn't really matter. The 7 steps work either way. But the point I'm trying to make to you here is we have reached a point where there is no longer any lack of instructions. Like, we don't wonder, well, how do you do this stuff? We know exactly how to do it. I do it all the time. I'm the #1 producer in multiple companies. And I do that just by repeating the 7 steps, working a few hours a week. You could do it too, but you'd have to learn the 7 steps and apply yourself. And the thing that's missing for most people is not the instructions, it's the work. And so that's where OnPassive becomes so powerful, because OnPassive allows you to get at least some results, to at least get into profit without doing any work. Now, I suspect what's going to happen is a lot of you who've been in the home business space, who've had some really good opportunities, who maybe have studied a lot about how to do this stuff, but you've never really taken action. You've just not put the work in, and you know it. People tell me all the time, I know the reason I've been failing is because I'm just not doing it, but that doesn't make me want to do it. It's like trying to lose weight. You keep eating. You know what's going to make you lose weight if you stop eating, but you just want to eat, right? But I have a feeling what's going to happen is a lot of you who are in that boat, you're going to set up your positions, whether it's a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months in, you're going to start seeing profit, right? So you're spending, say you're spending $250, say you're spending $400 a month to maintain the first 3 levels of positions, for example. And you're 6 months in, and now you're making $1,200 a month. So you're making $800 profit. Probably even before that point, a lot of you would look at that and go, holy crap, I'm like making $800 a month extra every month doing nothing. I wonder what would happen if I just started sharing it. And what's going to happen is you're going to start sharing it with people that you know who previously didn't want your juice or your supplements, didn't want to get involved in your home business because, one, they didn't have any respect for your abilities in that area. And you're going to be able to go to them and say, look, I'm making $800 a month with this. I've done literally nothing. Like, you can get paid if you do literally nothing. You don't lift a finger and you still get paid. And they're going to start looking at it. And some of them may go, well, prove it. Well, you'll be able to prove it, won't you? And all of a sudden, all these people who were never interested in anything before, they're all going to become interested. And before you know it, now you got 10 people that you've referred into the business. Now you're making even more money. And even if they never do anything, they all eventually get into profit, and that cycle will pay itself forward. Like, here's the thing. Like, someone who's done nothing, especially someone who's tried to get in business before, who finds themselves making a regular monthly profit, they don't keep that to themselves. They share it. So my speculation is that even those people who in the past have never put the work in, at some point, it's just going to go viral for them. And that's one of the aspects of this we're so excited about. And when you hit that point, you may say to yourself, I want to start sharing this now because look what's happening. Oh my God, everyone needs to know about this. And you may realize, oh, I don't actually know how to do this stuff. How do I share it with people? How do I make this go right? Well, with OnPassive, you're going to have literally every tool that you could possibly need to share it. I mean, you're going to have your bulk emailers and your email follow-up services and your ability to scrub email addresses, and you're going to have print services, and you're going to have webinar services and domains and hosting and done-for-you sales funnels. You're going to have a whole new sales funnel every single day of the year. But you may find like, oh, I just want to go out on Facebook or go to my warm market list and be able to invite people. How do I do that effectively? Well, that's what I teach at alancosens.com. I show you how the whole business fits together. I cover the 7 steps with you. There's over 200 tutorials on this site. So sometimes people say, well, if it's going to do everything for me, why do I need to learn all that stuff? Again, there's going to be a point where once you get in profit, you're going to realize, oh, I need to start sharing this with people. And then you may actually decide you want to be excellent at it. And that could be the difference between, having, say, 300 people in your organization and 30,000 in the same time frame, right? So let's say, 100 people in your organization will easily put you in profit, but 30,000 people in your organization in the same amount of time, that's a whole different, completely different lifestyle. So maybe you start thinking a little bit bigger. Maybe you decide, well, if I just get really good at contacting and qualifying people, I can enroll 5 new people every week and teach them the same thing, and they can enroll 5 people every week. And even if they don't want to, they can do nothing. And once they're in profit, I can reach out to them about, hey, so now that you're in profit, do you think you'd like to start sharing this actively now? It's crazy. Every angle I look at this from is a win. I can't find a single thing about this that isn't a win. So in any event, I've taken up enough of your time. I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can always find me at alancosens.com on the Contact Me tab here. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.